Hey guys, welcome back to Benos Esther Malka's channel. On today's game review, I am going to show you this Social Studies Instant Learning Center. It's Landforms and Mapping, and it is by Lakeshore Collection. If you are new to this channel, well then give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe because you don't want to miss every week I do another game review. And if you have this game, give this video a thumbs up, and you know what? Head over to my Instagram and let me know what you think of this. So first of all, just I want to point out, as you can see by the title, it is more of an educational game. Totally cool with that. Now let's get to the unboxing. This box is pretty large, as you can see here. So if you are limited in space, take note. So what's in this box is you have these little cards. And I'm going to actually show you one set because as you could see here, everything is color coded and there are 4 of each set. As you can see, pictures on one side and then you have the colors on the other. There are 4 dry erase markers, which makes this kit super interactive. So thumbs up for that. And then each set has a grid and a question, information card. There is also a mapping and assessment card. And you know what? As a teacher, sometimes I'm in a rush. I'm working with 3, 4, 5 students and I forget things. I love this answer key here. It is so much fun. Definitely one of the highlights of this game for me as an educator is easy sneak and peek. Love that. It also has a little instruction guide here. I think, in my opinion, it just takes up room on the table. It's kind of heavy duty, which I like, but the kids really know what to do. They don't really need help. So if you want it, I guess okay, but I run a game school, so my students don't need this. And like I said, they'd rather have more play space, but just a little nice piece of information. And then of course you have this activity guide of different activities, what's included, and how you can make the most of this. So just to give you one more close-up, I'm just going to show you the blue set. So as you can see here, there's a list of questions, and each question correlates with an answer on the grid. But before you get to the answer, which is my favorite part, is there are these pieces which whoever thought of including this little pouch, amazing job, Lakeshore. This made my life as a teacher easier. Just dump it out and go. But look, it has the answers here. And if you head over to the next part, as you could see here, the Lakeshore Learning Set is pretty large. Each student needs the board or the question board, the playing board, and their cards. So I'm going to actually show you a few different ways to introduce it to your students. And I'll show you kind of all the sets so you can get really a look. The first way is relatively simple. And this is the way Lakeshore has written on the boxes. You give the students the information or the questions or fill in the blanks or whatever they are cards. And then the students have the landform cards wherever there's space. So we'll just place them here. We have a plateau, a beach, mountain, glacier, valley. And the students will do something simple like, this large body of water moves very slowly across land. And you know what? The student will look at their choices. It's multiple choice. And oh, it's a glacier. And in which case, they'd have to match up the glacier. Now here's where the mapping comes in. Where is the glacier located on the map? And they would find B2. And over here, they'd write B2. And then over here, which awkward angle to write, I apologize, they would actually fill in the blank glacier. And they do the same for number 2, number 3, number 4. So that is setup number 1. Kind of just going through the different parts, matching it up here. And you know what? It's just a fun way for the children to become familiar with the different landforms. And let's go to another way we use this set. The next way I use this set, as you could see here, I'm showing you the orange set. The next way is I, as a teacher, would actually hold the landform cards, and then I would ask my students, and I would say, they're not looking at it. Remember, they're using this as a guide, but they're not seeing the color-coded version. and I would say lake. And they would actually have to go through all of these choices until they found lake, and in which case they would write down which one is lake, and they would put it on the grid, and they would see if they are correct. So this kind of takes it to a whole new level of the students not seeing the knowledge, not having access, and kind of using their memory to remember the names of the different landforms. And now let's see another way how we use this for education. So the last way I want to show you is where I have two students. As you can see here, I have blue and red. And what I would do is the red student over here would take the blue cards, and the blue student over there would take the red cards. So we're actually going to play with the red student right now. The red student would look through the blue cards, choose the one of their choice, and make it a guessing game. Say, I am tall, but I'm not so tall. Sometimes I have grass, and keep giving clues until the blue player would say, oh, it's a hill. And in which case they would match hill to their board, and then the blue player would ask the red player a question, and again, then the red player's turn. I fall from higher ground, I make a big splash, and whatever clues they have, they're kind of actually testing each other's knowledge, because the red player is testing their knowledge as far as what they know, focusing on their answers while trying to come up with the other player's question. So this is a really fun way for students to test themselves. If you guys have made it this far in the video, give this video a thumbs up, and thank you guys so much. So for my opinion of the Social Studies Instant Learning Center, Landforms and Mapping Game from Lakeshore. 1 is being, I love it, you should get it. 2 being, you decide. Or 3 being, stay far away. I am going to give it a 1 with a warning. So first I'll discuss why it's a 1, why I love this game and I think you should get it, and then I'll give you a warning just so, I like to be fair. So the first thing I loved about it is that it is such an independent game. For my students first starting out, here, let's look at one of these cards. Whether they knew the answers or not, they were able to look at the gray areas and figure it out themselves. So that gave them self-confidence to use and learn the landforms. Number 2, because this game was so easy, they kind of had the facts memorized and they just knew it by the tip of their tongues after a few times playing, which allowed me as a teacher to take it to the next level. They started giving themselves clues. They started asking themselves questions, and before you know it, we turned this center into a critical thinking skills game. Now, I could have sat and taught my students all about landforms, and yeah, that would have taken maybe 2 or 3 weeks. But this, 2 to 3 lessons. So in my opinion, love this game, highly recommend it. Now for the warning. Just because I loved it doesn't mean there were some things I want to warn you about. Number 1, if you are getting this for a homeschool setting and you only have one child or your youngest child, keep in mind this game is not going to last long. So if you have the budget for it, by all means, totally recommend you get it. You are going to love it. But like I said, if you're on a limited budget and you need a game that will grow with your students or your child, this may not be the one. However, if you're a teacher and you're going to be using this year after year, like I said, go ahead and get this game. And the last warning is, as you could see, look at this. Every student has 2 boards. They have the question board, they have the answer board, and they have the choice cards. Filming this video alone was a hassle, just to kind of figure out how I can get the camera to show 2 boards. Could you imagine if you're playing with 4 students? Like I said, we don't really use this part because it took away valuable space from the gameplay. So just keep that in mind. Number 1, this is not going to last long. Number 2, you need a large space to play. But overall, this game, show you one more time, is fantastic. And I highly recommend you add it to your homeschool, your classroom, because your students will learn so much. Now, as you can see, YouTube was very kind and turned off my comments. but don't worry about that. I started an Instagram page where you will have more content frequently, not twice a week like I do here, but you will have so much more content. So head over to my Instagram. Feel free to ask me any questions about this game or any other game or a skill that you want to see made fun, because you never know. Your question may turn into the next YouTube video. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe.